In 2015, the Nucleus team tested an earlier prototype. Since this was a preliminary design with some potential challenges, the risk was higher. Safety protocols were in place and shutdown was initiated immediately. No one was harmed in the fire, and maybe surprisingly, most of the equipment was saved.
So we were testing a different material on the insulation of one component inside the combustion chamber, and we had a burn-through. Which means that basically then the insulation component failed in doing its job correctly, and so part of our combustion chamber didn't hold the hot gases anymore. We learned a lot from it, and we achieved so much afterwards. So it's part of sometimes it's part of the learning process, and you just have to take it and learn from it and get better.
The Nucleus team did not give up. A new rocket motor with a stronger design was soon built and went through 3 years of successful testing. Still a big setback.
It's like having prepared a nice soufflé that as soon as you take it out of the oven collapses down. It's like a bit disappointing. But I think what was important for us was the fact that nothing dangerous, no harm to people or no severe harm to equipment happened. And so it's something that could be corrected and not irreversible.
Eventually, the Nucleus team gets ready for the final motor test. They now believe all possible problems have been solved. Still, the launch window is approaching fast, and time is of the essence.
Today we will run the last test of our ground test campaign for the Nucleus sounding rocket. Yes, so our current launch window is at the end of September this year, so it's just less than 3 months from now. So now our clock is ticking, and we need this test to go fully as we want it, successful for us to be ready and move forward to the launch.
Okay. Da går vi. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The rocket motor works perfectly.
Men ja, vi hadde 41 sekunder.
After a little while, it starts dawning on them. They have achieved something great today.
Er de varme her?
Her kan du... Ja.
Ja. We did it!
Ferdig. Wow.
Yeah, you see this? Everything is here. It's the biggest test we've ever done. So feels a bit crazy but.
Yeah, I mean it's a big achievement. We've been working for this for a long time.
Det var morsomt at det gikk bra.
Ja, diesen holdt veldig bra. Ikke lenge igjen nå test her, Martin, for en god stund.
Nå skal vi på Andøya.
Ja, nå skal vi der.
Vi jobbet og vi jobber veldig tett, og dette hjelper veldig mye for å få en teamfølelse da. Og for å føle at dette et resultat som kommer fra jobb av mange folk som jobber sammen.
The rocket motor has passed the final test, and as the first of its kind, is now ready for space.
Dette første gang som en norsk bedrift lager en sonderakett som skal skytes opp til 100 kilometer. Også med den teknologi som Nammo driver med, det første gang i verden. Vi veldig flinke med å lage sånne type motorer, så det spennende.
Gleder du deg til Andøya?
Ja, absolutt.
Yeah, I don't realize fully yet, but bra jobba. Bra jobba, Morten.
Litt grann opp. Der, ja.
Der kom den. Så skal du vris, ja, der. Der var det der. Der.
After years of testing and engineering, the time has come for the final assembly. Only 3 weeks before the planned launch, parts are coming together. The Nucleus is starting to look like a rocket.
It's crazy to think that after almost 2 years of work, we can assemble it all in a bit over 1 week. But it's for sure very challenging, and we discover small things all the time that we need to fix and adjust to make it work. And then, of course, has to be right such that on the day of the launch we reach the objective, which is no less than reaching space. So that would be a big feat, and every small screw and component in this rocket is contributing to that.
The hybrid motor has several advantages compared to liquid or solid fuel rockets. One of them is that the fuel and the oxidizer are completely inert, at least before they combine in the combustion chamber. That means the team can assemble everything without worrying about explosion risk.
It means you can work much more freely around the rocket itself and much easily to transport as a normal goods. And as well, since we have the oxidizer in a liquid form that we inject into the combustion chamber where the fuel is, then with a simple valve we can regulate how much of the oxidizer we want in the rocket, turn it on, turn it off, and control the thrust. And this opens a whole range of new possibilities for what type of flight you want to do with your rocket, and satisfying all needs of researchers that they haven't even thought about yet.
Also, water and CO2 are the main byproducts of the combustion. No poisonous substances are expelled. Adrian feels the concept could be ideal for launching small satellites.
I would say that the hybrid technology back Nucleus and that we are going to develop now right after the launch for this micro-launcher concept is essential to enable this boom in small satellites, and it will lead to one of the few carriers in the world that will provide dedicated launch service to small satellites.
All of the control electronics are built by the Nammo engineers.
These electronics actually take in all the data from the sensors and condition it for sending it over to the payload. And we have also some fuses here to ensure that if one sensor fails, not all the sensors fail.
Finally, as the rocket nears completion, huge boxes are being readied for the transport north to Andøya. And of course, logos and flags are put in place.
Vakker norsk flagg.
At last, the rocket is ready, and it's time for a bit of celebration.
Don't be shy.
Og beskjeden.
Beskjeden.
Ikke vær beskjeden.
Okay.
Ja, men jeg gjorde det ikke så bra egentlig.
Nei, det var fantastisk.
You want to ask me if my skills in cutting cakes are as good as my skills in rocket science?
This feels really great. This is a giant milestone for our employees within the space business. They have worked more than 10 years to get this hybrid rocket motor, scale it up step by step, testing, and now it's approved by ESA to go into space. The future for this is to continue to scale it up and then cluster them together and be a trusted partner to the European space industry to launch small nano satellites in the future.
Hvordan synes du den ser ut, Martine?
Den ser veldig pent og fint.
Vakker.
Vakker. Vakker raketten.
Vakker
Det
raket.
en deilig raket.
Ikke deilig.
Det en stor ballong.
Det er vår baby. 3 år gammel. Omtrent.
Barn dyre.
In the next episode, we are going to Andøya. Join us there for launch, but keep your fingers crossed for good weather.